rooms, and most recently I did Bufo. Bufo is 5-MeO-DMT. And I guess the overriding message that I want to get across to people listening to this is you need to really give these medicines the respect and reverence they deserve. You need to be really humble, really careful where you do them, how often you do them, who you do them with, all this kind of stuff. And I think in the last week, I realized something about myself, whereas I pushed it a little bit too far, you know? Like even just now, I feel a little bit like I'm a bit not in my body, you know? I feel it a little bit because I had the opportunity to do Bufo. Now, Bufo is 5-MeO-DMT. It's basically widely regarded as the most potent, powerful psychedelic a human can do. When you do this, it's so powerful, your body, your mind, your memory doesn't even connect to it. Like you're gone. You become nothing for a good 15 minutes. And for me, I actually filmed my journey. Believe it or not, there was someone filming it on a phone, and I watched it. I can't watch it back. I find it hard to watch back. I watched it back once because the whole journey I'm screaming and fighting. My ego doesn't to die. My ego, like it's trying to take my body back to source. It's trying to take me, my soul back to where I came from, which is God or source. I don't know where, you know. And my ego is realizing that I'm not Kash. It's realizing that this is all just a temporary meat suit. It's realizing that this is just a small part of my journey. This is not me. Like Kash is just a temporary thing. Actually, I'm something else. Like you're not Sam. You're given this name by your family to identify with during this life with this body. But right now your ego attaches onto everything so much. Like my name's Sam. This is who I am. I have this business. I have this car. I'm a human. I live in England. All this stuff, you know. This psychedelic, this visionary medicine, shatters all that, and it's very painful. It's very scary. And the only way you can come out of the journey is to surrender completely. It's almost like I surrender, like completely to whatever's happening, and in that moment you can experience complete bliss. You can become everything and nothing at the same time. And this is what happened to me during this Bufo journey. Yeah, and I was screaming and crying or fighting through it, most of it, which is on the video. It's only the last minute where I just surrendered and I lay down, and then I did a little dance when I got up. I was like ecstatic for a while, but then the same night I had planned to do a mushroom ceremony the same night, which the shamans told me, yeah, you can do this as long as you're doing it mindfully and respectfully. And I did mushrooms, and the mushrooms, I can't describe it in words. I almost don't want to, because when I say things, I fear that people listening will laugh it off, you know, because it's the kind of thing that's so profound, so powerful, that to me meant the world. And when you tell people, 9 out of 10 people will be like, yeah, whatever. Or like, sure, that you hallucinated. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which then makes my journey, then makes me retreat a bit, you know? Whereas 1 in 10 people, like people who have had similar experiences, I'm happy to share with them, because they will understand the depth of the feeling and and how important it is to me. And it doesn't demean the experience.
Well, you're in good company. You're in good company, trust me. And listeners to this podcast as well. In fact, this very week of podcasting, we've covered this with a shaman friend of mine and somebody I've been journeying with this week. So this is the energy that's happening this end of this conversation is very much, we're paying mind and introspection to the psychedelic and internal learning journey at the moment. So yeah, you're in safe hands with this discussion.
So basically, I was born a Muslim, but I was never really religious. You know, I was born Muslim. I believed in God, but like I never practiced. Then I would say in my 20s, I even would go as far to say I stopped saying I was Muslim. You know, I would say like I'm not even Muslim anymore. I'm just like a spiritual guy. You know, like I'm finding my way. And in the last 2 years doing psychedelics, I would start to say, yeah, I believe in a higher energy. I believe in a spirit. I believe in something else, a greater power. But I didn't really have a name for it. And I would always be very hesitant to use the word God, you know, because I would associate the word God with what Christian fundamentalists or Islamic fundamentalists say, you know, God. But like doing Bufo, it showed me, like, I felt comfortable using the word God after it. You know, I felt comfortable saying, oh, I almost felt like sad that it took me this long to find this faith This like before I was always like 98, 90%, like faithful. Like I was always like, yeah, I'm sure, but I don't really know, a bit agnostic, but like, now it's like, fuck, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry to myself, to God, to everyone around me for not having complete faith all these years. And thank you for always standing by, and thank you for being there. And in this moment, I had this connection to God, and I went to do mushrooms later on with this newfound feeling of connection, So when I was doing mushrooms, I don't want to talk about the whole journey because it's a lot. It was over like 9 hours. It was a whole night ceremony from like 8 p.m. to like 8 a.m. It's a big night outdoors in a cactus labyrinth under the stars by a big fire in the middle. It's just
beautiful.
A beautiful setting. And the shaman's also a DJ. So the music is just phenomenal. It's like house, techno, shamanic music all mixed, and it's like perfect. Throughout the night, I started to feel a deep sadness. I started to cry a lot, like on my knees. I couldn't stop the tears for like a good hour. It was like real wailing. I felt deep loneliness and sadness. And then something happened, like I'm looking at the stars, and it's almost like a UFO appears in the sky. Yeah. Like to me, that's what I'm saying. I see. This is why I'm hesitant to say it, because people are like, whatever, but it's actually real. It's real. I start moving, and it's like a bee in the sky, and I'm like, whoa, and I'm like, okay, and then another one moves, and I'm like, okay, and then all of a sudden it's like I see like a intergalactic highway. It's like there's like motorways in the sky, and it's like I see, there's like fucking so much happening up there, and there's like red lights, blue lights, green lights, and then I see like holographic giant ships. I don't know what they are, but they're just giant holographic things, and I'm so humbled, I'm thinking, why am I seeing this? Like this is so, it feels real, and it feels like they're communicating with me. It feels like I'm closing my eyes and I'm like, I'm getting downloads, It's like they're putting information in my brain and I'm like connecting. This is how they communicate. We don't communicate with aliens the way we think we do, like through satellites and telescopes. We communicate with them by closing our eyes and vibrating at a specific frequency. They exist on a higher frequency than us. Yeah, they've evolved. And therefore, like when we meditate and we close our eyes and we vibrate, and even through humming, through music, shamanic drum beating, there's vibrations, And when we can get into these vibrations, it opens a line of communication. Yeah. So I had buffo in me, and I had mushrooms in me, and I was vibrating so high, and there was music, and I was using, and I was like vibrating, and this opened a channel of communication. So anyway, so I realized all of a sudden I went from feeling deeply alone to thinking, I'm never alone. Angels, God, whatever you want to call it, is always there. And it's making itself aware to me, and it's saying to me, Kash, you're never alone. So the tears went from tears of sadness to feeling I'm really alone to tears of I'm never alone. And then all of a sudden I was just so grateful. And then this feeling of gratitude was just with me the whole night. And the sun rose. And as the sun rose, I was sitting on a bench and I was looking at the clouds. And now this is the most profound vision I've ever had on any medicine, yeah? Because it's like it feels real. Like some visions you get, you're in other realms, you're in other dimensions, close your eyes and you blast off and they're fantastic. But this vision was like I'm sitting in the and I'm looking up at the clouds, And I was staring at the clouds and I started to see shapes in the clouds the way you would normally do. That you can see a face in the cloud, you think, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it became like a real face. Clouds would they'd be moving with the wind, yeah? And I'd see, and all of a sudden they'd stop, it's like vibrate and shake. And it's like a holographic thing would appear, and it'd be like a face, and it'd be facing that way, but then the face would go like this. And it'd look down on me. And I'd be like, so I didn't know what I was looking at. Am I looking at God? Am I looking at spirit? Am I looking at the mushroom? Am I looking at buffo? I didn't know what I'm looking at. But whatever it was, I was so humble, and I was like, my tears were streaming. And then all of a sudden, more clouds come in, and it was like the spirit of a jaguar, a panther. Like I see the animal coming. It's like, looks at me again, and all these warriors, great warriors of the past, I don't know, but it's like they're in battle, their faces are like, if they're like fighting, and I'm like, God, I'm not, these spirits are making themselves aware to me, and it's like, I have strength, I'm connected to these spirits, I'm connected to the land, I'm connected to the panther, I'm connected to God, I'm not, I'm just so connected. And this is something that we don't have in our 3D world, this feeling of connection, but through psychedelic, through visionary plants, I had this, and it was just like I was just so humbled